It's amazing how our dreams are shaped by our subconscious. All right? You dream something, some crazy shit happens, and there's, at least in my case, and what I'm about to tell you is there's one small detail that's tied to something that just drives you nuts. All right, and this, you could categorize this as a nightmare, I guess, to like maybe like an adult.
Well, I always say, remember, nightmares are dreams too. Anytime somebody says, anytime I'm out at work and somebody's like, hey, how you doing? Living a dream. I always go, well, just remember, dreams or nightmares are dreams too.
Okay. So, I mean, this isn't like I'm cornered by a wolf or something like that, or I'm running from zombies or something like that. It's not that kind of nightmare. But you had told a fun fact a couple days ago about breadsticks lasting a certain, like something that. It was breadsticks lasting a certain amount of time, and that
it was olive trees. Okay, olive trees can live up to 2,000 years, and right. I said, funny enough, breadsticks from an olive tree, they can last 2,000 years as well.
That's correct. And my dream was that I was deeded some land. I was involved in someone's will, that I got a sizable piece of earth, and somewhere in the will is I had to build an olive tree, and I tried every fucking way out of it. Like, all the way, like, sell it. I'll sell it. Like, nope, you can't sell it. Listen, there's no way out of this. An olive tree is going up right here, whether you like it or not. And but then it was like, I don't even remember. I was trying to like, God, do I have to manage the fucking thing? Do I have to be, do I have to dishwash? Do I have to be in the goddamn restaurant all night? Then at that point, I kind of started to wake up, and I woke up and I was like, God.
Wait, hold on. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. You're talking about an olive, like a chain restaurant olive tree?
Correct.
Or...
Yes. The chain restaurant.
Okay. I thought you meant like the actual tree. I'm like, that's no big deal. Just fucking plant a seed.
Yeah.
And you're good.
No, it was
okay.
It was far worse.
Okay. Okay. So go back. Okay. Hold on. You get deeded this land. Mm-hmm. The stipulation is that you have to build a restaurant.
Right.
And you have to manage this restaurant.
We did. Like I said, I didn't get to the part where whether or not I had to manage it. I was still when I woke up, I was still knee deep into whether or not it had to happen. And I kind of come to the realization of it. Then I first started to think about whether or not did I have to manage it. Then I woke up. I didn't get, that wasn't in the will. And God knows who fucking passed away in my family to give me this property, to then fucking torture me with the stipulation.
Who's the biggest dick in your family?
Fuck, I don't know. Like, oh, thank you, Uncle Bruno.
Dude, it's funny. I was daydreaming in the car. Very similar situation. And I remember I told you the story. Did I tell you the story about me interviewing Michael Ian Black from the State?
Yeah,
and
News Radio
and Viva. No, he wasn't on
News Radio. You're right. I know who Michael Ian Black is. Yes, he was at Upright Citizens Brigade, the State, Kids in the Hall.
No, he wasn't on Kids in the Hall. He was.
I know who Michael Ian Black is.
Okay, well. I had done a radio interview with Michael Ian Black, and I had this. He and I were going this back and forth thing about like if your future self came back, how would you know it's you? Well, I played this scenario out in my head today, and I was like, okay, what if I was in a like industrial accident, and then I was only flashed back in time like a few weeks, so I'm not much older than I am right now, right?
Yeah, there would be no way of your 2-week-old self, not 2 week old, but 2 weeks previously. It'd be, you'd be looking in the mirror.
Yeah, so I was just like, okay, so I do the whole rigmarole where I prove to me that I'm me, and I'm like, all right, how we playing this? And then I was like, wow, I mean, we could take turns going to work and all this, and I'm like, yeah, but then do I keep myself secret, or do I tell Maria that there's two of me now, or like, does one of me have to go off and like live the dream? Like, I'm saying that facetiously, like, hey, buddy, whatever you want to do, just go do that. But then I started realizing, like, it's not that simple. Like, would I have to have a duplicate social security card? Would I have to start a new bank account? I mean, I'd only be as poor as I am right now. Do we take turns going to work? Does one of us switch off and like have to live in the shed in the backyard and never tell anybody? It just, I started to really like pull on that stupid, nonsensical fucking thread. So I guess my question is, like, how would you play it? And you have to remember, I'm kind of a dope. So, like, how successful would I be? Would I just? But then I'd have to feed myself. I'm like, I guess I came to the conclusion that I'm thinking of this alternate future version of myself as like a pet.
Yeah. This guy's a total buffoon. He can't fucking read right from left. And there's nothing. Yeah, he's just like he's learning from the ground up. Where it's you 2 weeks from down the road. Yeah, you guys can't agree on shit, by the way.
Because the moral of the story is, I realized how insufferable I am to communicate with.
Right.
Because I'm only having imaginary conversation with myself, and I'm pissing myself off.
It is. That is really funny. I do think that knee jerk. You think that this would be perfect, especially someone in your situation, wife, kid. Like, damn, I can get a fucking Tully Blanchard to Arn Anderson tag in. Like, let's fucking. Come on by. You be dad for a fucking day. I get to go to the apartment and scratch my nuts. But then again, I guess what I was getting at is that in that scenario, you slowly start to chip away about ways that it wouldn't work. Like what? So it's one income. How do I get the bank to split it up? How does Maria not get suspicious about fucking bank charges? Do I get a separate account? Does this person work under the table somewhere? I don't know. That won't work. There's too many eyes. I live in a small area. So I'm like, hey, I saw you here. Oh, I saw him there. I saw your husband. Yada yada yada. Then does the guy on the night off get to be promiscuous? You.
Yeah, I actually came to those were absolute. Every one of those thoughts that you just had were thoughts that I went through. And then I had this whole imaginary conversation with myself for being angry that I didn't write down every lottery number for the last 2 weeks. Like, well, you don't know tomorrow's lottery number. No. Did you write down today's, you dumb fuck? No, I didn't write down the goddamn lottery tickets. We're not getting rich. This is our situation now. How do we work this out? I actually came to the conclusion that it would be selfish of me to not let me bang my wife. So I was like, all right, fine. You can have her.
I don't know, man. I think the present you, in my opinion, is the only one that gets to do that. The other one just has to be the cuddler. They can go off and be promiscuous, but they can't be dragging something back to the house, some sort of itchy scratchy that you don't have.
I get what you're saying, but then I'm not that guy. You know what I mean?
You use a condom. Gotcha. You're that guy. At least 2 weeks from now.
I know 2 weeks from now, I'm all of a sudden not an adulterer.
Oh, so the apartment scroungler doesn't sleep with other women. He's faithful to your current wife.
Yeah, we now have to have that conversation of like, all right, man, look, I know you just experienced a really traumatic industrial accident, and now we're talking to each other. So it's not fair for you to not know your son, even though you're only 2 weeks older than me.
Sure.
So,
see,
anyway,
I think that the 2 week version gets to sleep with other women, but not your wife. But he's the cuddler. He's the romantic. He's like, oh, baby, I don't feel like sleeping tonight. Just cuddle. And then when you come back, you get to be the aggressor, like hey, I'm the lover.
Yeah, but see, it's still me. So I'm denying myself sex.
Yeah, hey, man, we're all selfish inside somewhere. Even if it's with us 2 weeks from now. Why do you think I'm drinking all this beer? Do you think I care about myself tomorrow?
Fuck no. So I guess I'm just sending the 2 week older version of me off to an olive tree.
You get to manage this thing. My owner's a good friend. All right. He knows a thing or two.
He lives in this fucking imaginary land you live in, where none of this is real, and you're both wasting your time.
Yeah. You don't get to bang the cocktail waitresses. Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm.
I know, but I love in this scenario how you've already like given me like a whole new personality when it's still just me. Like I'm dealing with me. I have
Right.
to deal with me as me on a daily basis, and that's fucking tough. That's that's a chore in and of itself. And then to have to deal with the actual me in reality, like I was just like, wow, man, I'm a burden.
It's well, yeah. I mean, it is a bit of a burden too. It's like they say, the rich man's burden. This is like the thinking man's burden. You know, you're just
Yeah.
you're crippled with thought. You're cursed with this idea that you got played. Listen, I hate to say, I sometimes dwell on this thing. I heard this. I wish I had never heard this. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I wish that this fucking thought, someone said this drunk at a party, and I was like, "Wow, that is an incredible hypothetical," and it's kind of cursed me for a year ish. It's, would you rather be it kind of depends upon how old you are when they ask this question. It's kind of perfect for people our age, maybe a little bit younger than you are, maybe a little bit younger than I am, but not much. Would you rather be 50 with $10 million or 10 with the knowledge that you have now?
Man, I would my knee jerk answer right now is 10 with the knowledge that I have now, but I also know how I lack a certain amount of ambition. So,
Dude, but the thing is, like, but based on what you know now, you can make $10 million, no problem. Sports betting, stocks.
Wait, do I? Okay, hold on, wait. Now, do I get transported back to? Oh, how do I get transported back to like 1989?
You get well, the way
my brain gets transported back to 1989.
Yeah.
Or do I become a 10-year-old?
You become a 10-year-old with your brain.
Living now? In 2022?
No. But like back when you were 10.
In 1989.
Yeah. With the knowledge that you have now.
Yeah, no, I definitely no.
You
I would
take
definitely,
that all day. Now
Yeah.
it's gonna
because
you don't
have more than $10 million.
You'd have that by the time you were 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would just invest in Apple and Microsoft and
You know, a few Mike Tyson fights, outcomes, a few Super Bowls.
But here's the other thing, though. With that, wouldn't I have to convince, like, my parents to invest in those companies because I wouldn't have any money?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, it's part of the hypothetical. I don't know. I've never thought about talking to my parents about this stuff. No. Mm-mm.
Okay, but then again, I wouldn't have anything else that I have had in my life. So, if I was, for me, I mean, I'd only be 7 years older, and then I'd have $10 million and not have to work anymore.
Right.
And I'd probably, but then again, if I went back to 10, I'd know how crushing life is. And I'd be like, as soon as I get this money, baby, it's fucking wingsuits and fucking helicopters all goddamn day.
I'm going to screw around at LAX with a turbine suit and Dick play chicken with fucking 767s. I think like the weird thing to me that has kind of crippled my mind with this fucking weird scenario is that, like, do I go back and do I talk the way I talk now? You know what I mean? Am I talking this sophisticated with this type of vocabulary? And all of a sudden the teacher
Yeah,
was
because
like,
you know it.
Yeah, I understand, but do I have to dumb that down? And then you have to go at 10, you have to go a decade plus without being able to buy booze legally. Now, not that stopped us when we were, you know, teens of some sort, whether you had a fake ID or you could get someone else to buy it for you. But I don't know. There's like at 10, there's like a 4 to 5 year gap where life was moderately miserable.
Yeah, but you also knew at that age the kids who were able to get the booze. So you would just be hanging out with fucking dirtballs, knowing that you have this investment nest egg just around the corner, that's going to make you a bajillionaire.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would just have to like con these other dirtball kids, all the grits that you never fucking hung out with. You just have to hang out with them to get your booze.
Right.
And then in a few, would your education suffer? Maybe, maybe not, because you'd already know all the answers.
Mm. Yeah, you could get an honest go at certain sports, like golf, indoor soccer.
I wonder how that would work, because like even now, I can actually kick a soccer ball better now than I could when I should have been able to kick it legitimately in high school. But would that transfer? My mental knowledge of how to do it, would it translate? Like, would it supersede my physical abilities then?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is just like the work ethic, knowing like, hey, I'm gonna actually put in some real fucking honest to God work in August, leading up to soccer season. I'm gonna get up every fucking morning, because you know this is what I know what I have to do. You know, then do you do it? I don't know.
No. Because I'm hanging out with a bunch of dirtballs, getting fucking booze and drugs.
Hell yeah. Middle Classholes, everyone. Foxman. Alan is actually on he called it a work vacation, or a work, is it a work event? I don't know. I think this is like some sort of sales mixer. I don't
Is he sniping fucking wild pigs in fucking Texas right now?
I think this is... He made the sales pitch. They ponied up, and now he's fucking night vision goggling fucking boars. Get some, get some. That prick. That prick. This one comes out of the dailynewsreporter.com. Hooters waitress caught dipping hot wings into her vagina. Houston, Texas. Jessica Sinclair, 24, was taken into police custody after she was witnessed by co-workers dipping hot wings into her vagina before serving them to customers. From what authorities told us, Jessica would dip hot wings into her vagina while on and off her period. This was done to customers who had been rude and had made off remarks about her appearance. Why she would do this while on her period is anyone's guess. The introduction of blood to this crime heightens the consequences of her actions. Tampering with food along with the addition of human blood is a criminal offense with special circumstances. It carries a sentence of up to 20 years in prison. The lesser charges of inserting wings into her vagina while not menstruating can carry up a prison term up to 10 years. That's good. While on the rag 20, off the rag 10. This, maybe she was trying to add, that special spice to the wig. I've heard of some weird things involving spices in women's vagina, and none of them have been too good. I'll let you comment on what you were going to comment on, but then I'll chime in on that.
Well, I guess my question is, was this pre-sauce or post-sauce? Was it pre-fryer or post-fryer? She's got a steel vagina. Like, I think worse than the prison sentences she's facing is the ability to find a suitor of any kind moving forward.
Well, I mean, coworkers say dipping hot wings. So by the way I read it, this isn't like pre or post sauce. I mean, that a wing is made hot the minute it fucking is doused in buffalo sauce and then deep fried. So by that point, it is already saturated in hot sauce, and then it is inserted into Mrs. Sinclair's hoo-hoo. And,
I think her vagina needs to be donated to science because its ability to withstand high temperatures and chemical burns is something of legend.
Right. That's a bit of a vendetta too. I mean, these people are talking about rude or off remarks. This isn't like she could have made the conscious decision to do this before the wing sauce got put on there. Like, fuck it, it's going in there. I don't care what time of the month it is. And then the dousing, but she made a point to wait until it would.
I have a feeling it wouldn't be the first time anything's gone in there raw.
That's a good point. I I have talked to women who have said like their significant other or boyfriend is cooking with spices, mainly jalapeno peppers, and haven't washed their hands. Then later on in the night, after a glass of wine, fingers have been used to get romantic, and the woman has been like, "Holy shit, that fucking hurts." That's the first thing I thought about when I read about this story, is that this is dipping with fucking buffalo sauce. Be like, fuck that guy. And, oh, man. And
here's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. As far as like getting back at somebody, if they don't know, like, does it really matter? Because I'm willing to bet, you know, if you're a Hooters waitress, there's plenty of guys that would love to go downtown at any time of the month.
It's, you know what I mean? If you had shown a few of the fucking, few of the assholes this woman's picture here, and I'll share it with the those who are looking. Like, anyone who was rude to her, and they found out later on, candid camera style, like, hey, look, this lady just shoved one of your hot wings up her vagina, and you ate it. And be like, oh, really? Damn. Fucking I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. I'll take 12 more.
Is she still here?
Yeah, right? I mean, from the tits up, she looks pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't say. This is actually reminds me, have you ever heard of the it's called, it might be called the Louis Anderson effect.
Okay.
No, that's not. Have you, it may be something else. It may, like, fuck. I want to say it's, okay. So if a psychologist did an experiment with attractive men hitting on women in a certain manner, like suggestive, you know, like, hey, not like, hey, I want to take you back and I want to have with some hot wings, but pretty matter of fact, blunt about their intentions, and the women being like turned on by it. And then apparently the whole premises of it is like, okay, we yell cut. Louis Anderson comes out and says the exact same thing.
DeVito effect. That's what it is.
Vito effect.
Danny DeVito.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Danny DeVito effect. So Danny DeVito comes out, says the exact same thing, and you take it as like harassment, sexual harassment, because this guy's fucking clowning on you. I think the same applies to this. You know, if what?
I don't think so.
Rosie O'Donnell shoves the hot wing in her hoo-hoo, and the guy's like, yeah, I like that.
Well, there is a flavor for everyone. I just think,
yeah,
the more attractive the woman, the more attractive the woman, the more the wider berth of man is going to be okay with that situation. No matter how hideous or haggard that female is, there's always going to be at least one guy that's like, okay,
yeah,
give me some ranch. I'll take ranch.
Men are shameless. Men are absolutely fucking shameless.
Yeah. No, and I know what you're talking about, because they were talking about the guy. I the latest one I remember is the guy from the 50 Shades of Grey. Like, yeah, they're talking about, and if you replace that character with Danny DeVito, is it the same movie? And the answer is obviously no. But look, we're humans. We're sexual creatures. So of course, the more attractive someone is, the more we're willing to let our adventurous side, like, reveal itself.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most cis men enjoy sex with a woman, but not every woman. And then if you just said, no, it's just straight sex, a single man at a bar, hey, straight sex, this woman is going to give it to you out in the parking lot. And she's a little, but there's going to be plenty of guys who just be like, all right, well, you know, if it's free, it's free.
That's a sure thing, right? Yeah, okay, let's do that.
Yeah, no consequences. All right, I'll meet you out back. But if you further it along, and it's like, okay, there's some strings attached here. You're gonna have to make her car payment for the next 3 months. But she's like Cindy Crawford, 1989. It's gonna be like, All right. Yeah. Okay. Deal. But if you made that same deal with like the Rosie O'Donnell, it's gonna be like, fuck no, get out of here. I'll take 3 more rounds. I'll buy it. I'll pay twice the price.
It would be funny to see the lines dwindled after these
Yes.
stipulations were like, oh no. Just walk back into the bar.
Same deal. This chick. Nope.
And to think this all spawned from free fucking buffalo wings in a woman's vagina at Hooters. She was hot. What happened to her?
Yeah. So I don't know. She's obviously like, who turned her in? Did we know that?
Oh, I mean, I think it was coworkers.
Okay, those are good people. Good for them. Because I'm sure there's assholes that are fucking ordering hot wings at a Hooters every fucking Friday night.
Sure.
And to know that they're assholes, that chick has to be the definition of cunt to get turned in by her coworkers for fucking with asshole customers. 'Cause I know how assholeish customers can be.
Yeah, and like the brethren of servers at a place like this at a Hooters too. I'm not saying that it's some sort of like sorority, but I think that those people stick up for each other. They understand the game. They Christ, I'm sure Hooters waitresses get fucking hit on by the scum of the earth over and over and over and over again. And to see someone watch another fucking server jam a hot wing in her vagina and be like, oh, she crossed the line. I would have been cool if she spit in his gin and tonic, but he just can't do that.
Having worked in a kitchen and knowing how dirty a kitchen is, like you're lucky that's the worst place your wing's been.
Yeah,
and then to have this chick pop a squat in the kitchen of a Hooters restaurant.
You want to call me a punta? I'll show you fucking punta. And then it all comes full circle, because I'm sure that some of the men who ate these wings, had they been told like, "Hey, surprise, candid camera, Jessica Sinclair shoved a few of these up her vagina," they'd be like, "Oh, damn, yeah, shit, I'm in."
Which one? They start eating off each other's plate.
Are those yours? I want this.
Extra spicy.
Yeah. Hey, folks, stick around. Adam's going to be joining us for Asking for a Friend. We got some legal stuff, because we're always in trouble. And, I had to reach for that one. Got something coming from Melbourne, Florida, and then Perth, Australia. I find that funny. We're going from Melbourne, Florida to Perth, Australia. Stick around.
Like a warm, creamy chutney. Get ready for another spoonful of the middle class holes.
Welcome back to the Middle Class Holes. As promised, our friend from the city that never sleeps, and it's the Great Apple? The Rotten Apple? Big Apple.
The Rotten Apple. Oh, yeah.
Depends on who you ask, I guess.
That's right. And the U.S. Open is taking place. Adam, asking for a friend, our legal counsel and Esquire. I think I've asked this before. Do you have Esquire like anywhere printed on a business card or like the front of your desk?
No, I actually asked them specifically. I like take it off of all my legal, like even when I'm submitting something to court and to sign it, I take off Esquire. I mean, some of attorneys leave it on. It's like half and half, but I purposely take it off because I think it's pompous.
Okay, yeah, it does sound pompous. So what is the purpose of Esquire? What exactly? Explain to the people, the folks at home, Esquire.
I did not prep for this, unfortunately, so I didn't look into the etymology of the word Esquire. I'm sure it's British. It's got to be, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's got to be British. But I guess, like, so is it automatically attached to somebody who is officially a practicing attorney? Is that like just automatically you become an Esquire?
It's a surname for the attorney. That's the North American definition. Number 2, historical. A young nobleman who, in training for knighthood, acted as an attendant to a knight.
Oh, Esquire.
Oh,
yeah,
no, it's like Like a squire?
That's right.
Esquire.
Hey.
It's the squire. It's the squire.
Right. It was Spanish, most likely.
He's not going for that. Yeah.
So it's like having like a doctor at the front of your name. It's just Esquire at the back of your name.
Exactly.
And the fact that you're actually practicing and then they have to, it's redundant. It doesn't need to be there. Like, Mr. Calvert, Esquire? No Esquire.
It would be like if you, although I will play devil's advocate here. What if you were going to a doctor's appointment and it's just like, hey, John Smith here. Like, Dr. John Smith? Nah, just John Smith. John Smith MD? Nah, just John Smith. Just go by John Smith.
He's just
John
really
Smith.
good at what he does.
Yeah.
He read a lot of medical books.
He's a real we're at YouTube University.
That's right.
Grey's Anatomy, ER, he's seen them all.
Well, let's get it started, my friends. It is time for asking for a friend with our attorney friend from the great state of New York, Mr. Adam Calvert. So let's start with this one. It's of course out of Florida. I really like this and I really hate this one. A Florida man is behind bars on DUI charges for allegedly drunk driving a motorized scooter inside a Walmart where he nearly struck shoppers and crashed into shelves and merchandise displays. He's 39. He was busted around 10 a.m. on Sunday in a Walmart in Melbourne, just south of Orlando. Officers were summoned to the store in reference to an intoxicated male on a motorized scooter. So Walmart security told the cops he'd been driving haphazardly, yada, yada, yada. Store security cameras recorded swerving, running into items, and nodding off while driving the motorized scooter. So he's charged with 4 misdemeanors, including driving under the influence, disorderly conduct, and possession of an open container of alcohol. He's being held in lieu of $3,000 bond. The Walmart scooter, which tops out at 10 miles per hour, is considered a motor vehicle according to Florida criminal statutes. Okay, so I guess my question to you, is this the proper usage of the DUI, driving under the influence? I was always under the impression that it was to stop people from being on the roadways and causing, catastrophic damage to human life. Is this does he get off the DUI charge and get charged with everything else, or does it stick?
It sticks. I actually looked up the Florida statutes for you on this one. Because I was kind of curious about this one myself. I was like, well, one, he's in a scooter, so how can you get a DUI when you're just on a little scooter? And 2, he wasn't on the road. He wasn't even on a public sidewalk or public area. He was on private property and inside a building. So it turns out neither of those things matter. And the statute is kind of clear how it defines vehicle. I mean, it lists all these different vehicles that are under there. It's pretty much anything on wheels that is powered by anything other than like Fred Flintstone feet, and even a bicycle counts. So anyhow, and it doesn't apparently matter where you operate it. And it's not just Florida that's like this. From what I can tell, it's a lot of other states too, which is kind of surprising to me.
I tell you what, I'm floored by is that the guy who decided to drive this around Walmart wasn't exactly safe. He wasn't adhering to Walmart stop and go signs and turn signals, and he was smashing into things. He certainly sounded like a safe driver to me when I first heard about him, first impression.
Well, the thing that got me too was that I think something in the article was that something about him walking. And I guess maybe when I saw he was on a scooter, before I read the article and saw more about it, it's like, oh, there's some disabled guy on it. But no, I guess he just got drunk and got on the scooter. It's just, that was going to happen.
I guess that makes sense.
I should have seen that. I don't know why I assumed it was an old guy at first. He was just drunk.
Well, okay,
disabled person.
Now, to play devil's advocate here, if I was his attorney, one of the arguments that I would make is that he doesn't possess the ability. Walmart gave him the access to the scooter. Now, I know that there aren't keys and you don't have to go ask for them. They're just available for anybody to jump on. But is Walmart then in some way responsible for giving him access to a vehicle while intoxicated? He doesn't own this vehicle. This is a piece of Walmart property. And so it's not like he can only use it if Walmart has kind of, given him permission to do so. They gave him permission to be on the scooter, and then he drives a fool. I've never seen anybody drive properly on one of those scooters in a Walmart, by the way.
Oh,
So,
yeah, they're all incapable. They're all fucking just mentally handicapped. And I don't mean, like, disabled. I just mean dumb.
yes. But does Walmart bear some of the responsibility for giving him access to the vehicle?
I have a question. Does it say explicitly in that article that Walmart gave it to him? Or did he, like, oh, no one's looking?
No, I think it's basically just like, you know, they have them parked at the front of the store, and then if you want one, you grab one. I mean, but Walmart made that fully available for anybody.
Okay.
A toddler could jump on there. Anybody could technically jump onto that
Right.
thing. It just so happens a guy who downed a fifth of vodka and walked through the store and said, I can't walk, I'll drive. He just happened to get on there, but he had access to it. So is Walmart responsible in any way?
Well, you know, that's a good question. I think the problem is more if they had awareness that this guy was drunk, and in this situation, you see this a lot in these retail places or different companies. They're trying to figure out what to do, and do you put somebody there to monitor these scooters, right, and to like breathalyze people and check them out to make sure that they're okay before giving them to them, or do you just leave them open? Because by putting somebody out there to check people, if you don't check them properly, then that might make you look more liable, right?
Oh, yes, that's true. But obviously, if you don't, you end up in a situation like this. And as far as checking people, dude, you know, you see people in those stores that they're supposed to be there for people who are legitimately handicapped and are incapable of walking. I don't know, the distance around the store takes. I mean, you go into Walmart, you're probably going to walk about a mile if you're going to do some actual shopping. Some people aren't capable of doing that. This guy's just drunk. If you just seriously had somebody, hi, welcome to Walmart. Oh, you'd like a scooter? Oh, what's ailing you today?
Mm-hmm.
Judge Smirnoff. Okay, well, we're going to have to tell you no for this specific occasion. Go turn that ankle in the parking lot, come back, maybe we got a deal.
You have the most honest person in mind. You know, oh, I'm drunk. Yeah, these guys just come out with it. Just honest drunks.
But if you smelled booze on somebody, you could be like, no, sir, you can't use a scooter.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, then what if somebody's on medication that they shouldn't be operating a vehicle on?
Well,
That's not something you can smell in somebody's breath necessarily.
Hey, man, that's the highway's problem, not Walmart.
That's true. I guess in that scenario, I mean, are they slurring? I mean, but in that instance, if you want to hand out DUIs, I feel like the person who's like ODing themselves on their fucking opiates, like they probably deserve the charge more than this guy. Look, bottom line, in my opinion, he should be charged with all those other things. I just feel like not even the spirit of I guess the spirit of the law is that you don't want people on the roadways murdering people with 2,000 plus pound vehicles. So that's why you have the driving under the influence, not for rolling around in a 40-pound scooter.
No, because there are more serious laws that if somebody gets murdered with a vehicle, you don't just give that guy a DUI. That's why there's manslaughter laws.
Hey, is this a PBJ, right? Oh, yeah, you bet.
I was drunk, so it's okay that I killed 5 people. DUI. That's the best you can do, right? Yeah, that's why we're getting the other laws for it.
Yeah, what if this guy ran into an aisle and knocked it over, huh?
Yeah, what if he broke somebody's leg, ran into somebody and broke their hip?
I'm just saying, you're definitely not going to have. I would assume you're probably not going to have a death with a Walmart scooter in a Walmart aisle.
That's why it's a DUI.
Yeah.
It's more minor events.
And we're just lucky enough that this guy Austin powered himself in the fucking candy aisle. All right, just took him 1,000 back and forth to get out of that. You know, he could have knocked something over. He could have gone to the power tools and stole one of them and turned it on. You know, while he was driving. Fucking slinging around a fucking chainsaw. They sell those at Walmart, right?
Yeah, but they're not out of the package or anything. Believe me, I've gone through the cutlery section and been like, this could really be a problem. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. They've bolted the knives into the fucking block. We're good.
No, you just cut the plastic and pull the cord.
They bolt the knives, but they just leave the scooters to whoever wants them. Huh?
Exactly. Let's see. So what's he charged with? He's charged with 4 misdemeanors. Okay, the DUI, obviously disorderly intoxication. I get that. Possession of an open container of alcohol.
Oh,
What could
he
the
had
other?
booze? He
What could
wasn't
the
just,
other?
he wasn't just drunk. He had open booze on him, huh?
Yeah. So again, Walmart's big survey system didn't really pan out.
I was gonna say that might have been a fucking red flag. Like, what would you like the scooter for? Well,
more of this.
I wonder if you can buy booze in Walmart in Florida.
Florida probably
yeah.
yes.
I was gonna say that's a yay. I mean, every other Florida definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get all your, probably fireworks, guns, booze. I don't know, pretty much anything in a Walmart town in Florida.
Right.
So, okay, if this guy came to you needing an attorney and said, I'm only going to accept you for the job if you can get me off. You taking the job?
I have to get the guy off?
Yeah.
Man, that's
Legally.
How much is he paying me? If this guy's coming to me to be his attorney, then I'm probably considering a different career. If this is the kind of client that I'm getting in. It's the guy that's coming through my door.
This is
Adam Calvert's my guy. I should be in a different line of work.
Adam Calvert, Esquire.
That's right. That's when you're doing infomercials with the Esquire. I will say, my father used to say, this is like a really good rule of thumb for life. Don't break the jerk rule, okay? And if you have to have that explained to you, what's the jerk rule? Then there's a problem. You should know instinctively and morally what the jerk rule is in any given social situation, and this guy broke it. So, I don't mind. You say like, "Oh, well, should he gotten a DUI?" Hell yeah, he should have. Asshole, jerk.
I admit he's being a jerk, but I don't think he should have gotten the DUI. I think there's plenty of other charges to throw at him. The driving under the influence. This means he can't actually drive a car while sober now.
Yeah. Okay. So this guy, all right, whatever. We agree to disagree on this one. You act like they're throwing him in jail for 10 years. It's
yeah, but
DUI.
DUI is a big charge, though. That's like the biggest driving violation you can get. And I'm just contending that he wasn't driving anything of significance. And he doesn't need insurance for that vehicle. He didn't buy that vehicle. That vehicle was literally given to him by a multi-billion-dollar corporation. And it's their fault that he was drunk and unable to drive it.
You're also assuming that he drove there. He may not even have a license. He may have walked there drunk.
Right. He may have Ubered his way there.
Now, I'm picturing fucking sweatpants that are like a size too short, wife beater, and house slippers, and a fucking tall boy in a brown bag.
I think he had Smirnoff, didn't he?
I just said Smirnoff. I'm just assuming that might have been that might be a little too high class for this particular gentleman.
Yeah,
but okay, you're the attorney. He's an asshole. He's going to jail. He probably can't pay his fines. And you know what? He probably is going to get given a public defender in Florida, which probably isn't getting him very far. But speaking of breaking the jerk rule, this one comes out of Australia. I'm intrigued by this story, and I've got several questions for you, but we'll start here. An Australian vegan has been locked in a legal battle with her neighbors for years after claiming they purposely used their barbecue to cook meat, sending smells wafting into her backyard. Check this out. Can you imagine what her profession is? There it is. Celia Carden, a massage therapist, has taken her neighbors to court multiple times beginning back in 2017 over various claims, including the meat, the sound of scraping chairs, noisy pets, and reflecting light into her general direction. Carden, who lives in the suburb in Perth, says that she's issued her neighbors with warnings about smoking cigarettes and allowing their children to bounce basketballs. Quote, "They've put the barbecue out there so I could smell fish. I can't stand the smell of fish," she told the media. "I can't enjoy my backyard. I can't go out there." She continued, "It's been devastating. It's turmoil. It's been unrest. I haven't been able to sleep." Now, of course, she took this to court. She lost. Should she have lost, Adam? Does she have a point to be made about the neighbors wafting the sweet, delicious smells of grilled meats in her general direction outdoors?
No, she doesn't. She does not.
That is the fastest analysis / Adam probably did very little to no dirt digging on this one. He just read it and was like, "No, nah."
Oh, I did. I did a little dirt digging. I did a little dirt digging for
All
you
right.
guys. Yeah, I always dig dirt for you guys. So, well, let's pretend this is America because I don't dig dirt all the way down to Australia to research Australian law for you guys.
Understood.
I do not dig dirt that far. But American law, so you can have a nuisance, right? Or you can sue somebody for harassment. Those are usually the two kind of things you'll see in these angry neighbor situations, which I've been fortunate enough to have to deal with some of those before, and they're not fun because it's just it's not a good situation. Anyway, so nuisance is something on your property is impeding on the right and enjoyment of somebody else's property, right? So if you have a noxious smell, I mean like sewage, or you have a bunch of just old rusted out cars, that's a nuisance. Okay? Now harassment, that's a different thing. That's purposefully doing something to mess with somebody. So those are the two kind of things, and it all depends on reasonableness, right? Like what a reasonable person would find to be a nuisance. If it's something normal like grilling meat, grilling fish, that's something you would expect somebody to do, right? That's your neighbor.
Yeah. Well, then, first, if she said, "I hate the smell of grilled fish," they should have thrown on some kielbasa and some fucking steaks. Like, here you go, vegan. Waft that shit.
Yeah. Well, see, okay, my question is, and I'm not sticking up for the massage therapist who's complaining about her neighbors living their lives, but she does say it was deliberate. Now, I could see in my situation, me being me, that if one day I was outside grilling up some sweet-ass New York strips and a couple ribeyes, a few burgers, some dogs, and my neighbor's like, "Oh, my God, you're a scourge of the earth, those poor animals. How could you do such a thing?" I can tell you now, my oven would be on eBay tomorrow, and I would only be grilling meats outside, and it would be deliberate, and I would be doing it absolutely on purpose just to piss my massage therapist neighbor off. Now, as long as I don't admit this openly, do I still stand to win the court case should she try to take me? Or if I say, "Hey, listen, guess what? I'm grilling every day for the rest of my life. Enjoy your evening." Do I then lose the case because I'm purposely being a nuisance and I'm admitting so?
Well, it would. So, oddly, I think in that situation, you would lose a harassment suit, but win a nuisance case.
Interesting.
Right. Yeah.
See, the meats get
like
juicier.
This is like a law school exam question. So the harassment, right, is purposely doing something to mess with somebody, right? So by telling that person that you were grilling every day just to mess with them, admitted it. You know that that's something that messes with that person. It might not mess with everybody. If I know one of you guys had a certain quirk, a thing that wouldn't bother most people, but I knew it really got to you, and I was doing it all the time. Yeah, it'd be harassment, right?
See,
like that.
You got to rethink how you would say it. You got to say like, I've really taken a liking to this grilling thing, so much so that God, because I enjoy it so much, I'm just going to do it every meal for the rest of my life. I'm excited to get out that back patio and grill. Take it easy, neighbor.
Yeah.
That would be the approach that you need to take.
What if pressed during cross-examination, I made the statement, "Yes, but her displeasure makes my food even tastier"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to lose that harassment suit there. but all right, so getting back to my earlier answer, though, you would win the nuisance suit, right? Because a nuisance depends on what the public generally would think is an annoying sort of impingement on their land, right? And that kind of depends on, it also depends on the setting, too. I mean, you're in an urban setting, and let's say, like, I'm grilling every day, and my building is right attached next to another, and it wafts right into this guy's window, and just the smoke is just pouring into his window, and I'm grilling out on my little 3-foot patio out here. That's a lot different than grilling every day, out in even a suburban or especially rural area, right? So grilling fish is like I mean, you got to expect somebody's going to grill if it's a place where you can have grills, right? It's not something that will bother most people.
I also, and I listened to a few other of the noises that were taking place in that backyard. I heard basketball/sports. I heard a lot of, they said smoking cigarettes. So these people were partying for the most part. But I hear animal noises. Was that, did I catch that in the article? Animals making noises?
Once again, Wes, I don't think you did. This is another one of those.
No. I'm going to look this up.
One of those, like, those things where you're hypnotized by the story and then you're just
how the hell would have I gotten the cigarette smoke and the kids playing
I'm going to read the exact paragraph. Carden, who lives in the suburbs of the western city of Perth. Said that she also issued her neighbors with a complaint over smoking cigarettes and allowing children to bounce basketballs.
Damn. I think this was like a couple sentences before that.
Okay, there's another one. Including the meat, the sound of scraping chairs. Oh, I'm sorry. Noisy pet birds. You are correct, sir. Right. I do apologize. I am an asshole.
Okay, so we were both kind of right and kind of wrong because I heard noisy animals. I didn't catch the bird part, and I thought that was funny. Like they were killing the animals and throwing them on the grill, like animals like. So, pet birds. Okay.
Actually, you know what? Pet birds are probably the most annoying pet sound in the universe. Like, I would say pet birds, yappy dogs, and then I don't know. You can find anything else after that. The pet birds. Could you say that I actually might side with her on pet birds? Those motherfuckers are they just squawk all the time. If someone has birds that won't shut the fuck up, 1, can you kill them? 2, could you win that battle in court over them? You know, could you have their birds removed from their premises for just annoying the shit out of you all the hours of the day?
Well, no, you can't kill somebody's birds.
Damn it.
Yeah. I didn't have to look that one up.
All right. You're full of disappointment this evening.
But you could, potentially have them remove the birds or mitigate them somehow or something like that. It would depend on how many birds we're talking, what sort of proximity to your house. And it also depends on things like legitimate purpose. I mean, if that person happens to be like ornithologist or something like that, studying birds, that's different. Like, I mean, think of like if you had I hear this all the time. All right. So, cause I'm kind of close to Lincoln Center, I hear people like opera singers sometimes singing out of their apartments, or people playing piano or violin or something like that. It's great. Luckily, nobody does it in my building because I don't want to hear it all the time. But when you're walking by it, it's great. But if that person is a professional musician, it's a different standard than me getting a drum set and just banging on it in my building all the time, right?
Call me presumptuous, but I'm not sure the cigarette smoking grillers are studying birds right now. Maybe I'm wrong. They just don't come across as what did you call those? What's the actual term? You're Esquire bird studiers or what?
Oh, ornithologist.
Ornithologist, yeah.
Bird law. I know my bird law.
I was really close to that.
I've been wrong about orthodontists all this time.
When you had said, I am starting to think the actual story of this is she's just annoyed by the partying that goes on, and I bet you, and you hit the nail on the head, Murr, that she's annoyed by the fucking birds. The birds is like, that's the actual story, but that doesn't sell fucking headlines. What sells headlines is vegan annoyed by neighbors grilling meats. That's actually sexy. That is sexy.
I saw an interview with this lady. Her fucking screws are as loose as a massage therapist gets, man. It's just like, it was just like, they are purposely grilling because they know I'm a vegan and I don't want to have to smell that meat. So they purposely waft it my way. And I'm just like, okay, lady, you've lost every last screw that was loose in your fucking fragile little fucking mind. But a final question here. So does the neighbors that grill and have squawky birds and children who enjoy life and have fun outside, do they have a countersuit against this woman for harassment from taking them to court all the time over just living their lives?
Well, Australian law, and Great Britain, you have loser pays rule, so they could have gotten damages, or their attorney's fees back and things like that. You would not get that in America. Right? Now, if you were to file multiple lawsuits that got dismissed, and I've seen plenty of cases, thankfully, none that I've had to deal with, but I'm in court and judges like, this is your 15th lawsuit against this person. They've all been dismissed, or more than that sometimes. Yeah, then in the U.S., then you'll start getting damages and things like that, and you can countersue. But generally, here in America, just suing somebody and getting your case thrown out, that's not, you're not going to get damages for that, even if you win.
Punitive, of course, right?
Yeah, punitive.
Yeah.
Good job, Wes.
It's from a Jerky Boys prank phone call. Come on.
And that, my friends, is asking for a friend. And remember, if you have any legal questions or any kind of criminal activity you've been involved in the past and you'd like to anonymously ask our legal counsel, Mr. Calvert, remember to send us an email to tickleourtummies@gmail.com.
All right. Well, hey, shit, man. Adam, if you want to stick around for Fun Fact Friday and then, before you go, you're welcome to, because we're rolling into Fun Fact Friday right now.
I like my fun facts.
All right. Dad, hell yeah. Did you know? Actually, no, sorry. Sorry, Mur. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to sing a song this week. You don't have to acapella something unless you want to.
I mean, I'm always down. I mean, I've been working on some. I've just been anticipating some pop songs that I could really rock out to.
So when he's going to go in his spiel about Mur's going to go into his spiel. Adam, if you can think of a jingle, he's 2 for 2. He's 2 for 2, and how he introduces Fun Fact Friday.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to explain this to me.
So
just pick a song. Pick a recognizable song.
A recognizable jingle tune, and Mur will introduce Fun Fact Friday to the cadence and pitch and song, a cappella style.
All right. Build Me Up Buttercup.
Ooh. Ooh. Wow, that's a good one. Okay. Okay. Time for some fun facts.
Fun facts.
For your mind, baby. Let's get it on. Get it on. Brought to you by the Shin Splints Recovery Group. They are a bunch of assholes online who don't know shit about anything about your legs below the knee.
Below the knee.
Or above the ankle. So let's go. That's too much refrain going on with this. This is kind of tough. Let's get to it.
We'll give you half on that.
Okay, yeah, it's a half point. That's a good song. That was a good one. That one threw me off.
A half point. Also, so the other two you've done were better.
Yeah, I mean, he nailed Eye of the Tiger the week before last. I mean, it was incredible. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, I give Mur a lot of shit, but that was amazing.
Fuck. Well done, Adam. Thanks for ruining my bit. Let's get to it. 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. OMG facts. Did you know there are nearly 7,000 languages spoken in the world today?
Seven G's. Damn, I wonder if they, for starters, one, I didn't know that, and I wonder if they consider, like, variations. Like, we speak English, but do they consider what they talk in Great Britain or Australia a different language?
No, that would be considered there. It's just once you start to get to like those really tiny like African communities, Indonesia, Micronesia, they start to have like these island cultures where that they just speak that like, in their town. And how many 7,000 languages? Can't we just narrow that down? Like, I mean, I know like imperialism's bad, but can we just be like, all right, look. There's 5 languages. You got to pick one. It's either English, Spanish, German, Mandarin, or one of the Asian languages.
Sanskrit. We're bringing it back.
No. You getting rid of Arabic?
Okay, Arabic. There. That's your 5. That's your 5. Farsi. That's it. You get to pick one Arabic.
No,
yeah.
Farsi's not.
No, I understand, but that seems to be the most widely spoken in the region. So that's it. Okay, we're drawing lines in the sand here.
Yeah, I mean, you only get 5. Why? What do you think's fair? Esquire.
But Farsi's a dialect. Never mind. It's
Oh,
not.
right.
Arabic is a.
Well-
never mind. That's like. Anyway, all right. I'm splitting hairs. Anyway, I'm just trying to get that one back on there. But yeah, I think it's maybe we can. I mean, more than 5, right?
No. Why? No. Because we could learn, you could arguably, everybody could learn 5 languages, technically. I mean, the Russians are going to be a little pissy that I didn't give their language out as a
Yeah, that
option.
might be tough.
Now we're not exactly on the best terms right now. So
Well, yeah, that's true. So, no, I almost feel like it's sad that I mean, I'm sure they don't consider it sad that that's the language they speak, but like they can't communicate with the majority of the global population. A lot of these people, somebody outside of the top 10 languages is basically like fucked for any kind of economic development moving forward. So you would think that they might want to adopt an outside language, and maybe we should be the ones to impose it on them. We're chosen specifically.
I've heard that people can learn more than one language. So maybe that's. I mean, people learn more than they just learn other languages. You want to deal with somebody else, you learn that language.
Yeah.
Well, I have a feeling if you helicoptered into some tiny island in the middle of the Philippines and talked to old Tuk Tuk, he ain't spouting off too many other dialects besides his own.
I bet you spend enough time with Tut Tut or whatever you just called him, and you'd pick up some things. I've seen enough movies. They start drawing things, and then you can figure out the words.
Yeah, dude. Randy.
Before you know it, you and Tut Tut are married with 5 wives each or something.
Randy Quaid learned some alien language in that movie in the 80s. And he's talking to some, it's like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, if Randy Quaid can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. Of course, he was a spaceman. He may have known a few others, but how the hell do I know?
Wait, hold on. What movie is this with Randy Quaid in the 80s?
Boy.
Don't tell me you have to look this up.
He saves an alien. The alien has a kid. He doesn't realize that male aliens can reproduce like that. The alien dies and he raises the kid as his own. And that kid can speak English, by the way. Okay, the alien kid. And
fresh out the butthole.
Well, you only see him. Okay, so let me backtrack a second. I was definitely saying Randy Quaid, right? It's Dennis Quaid. Okay, it's not.
Okay, all right.
It's not Randy Quaid. It's Dennis Quaid. I got a little too. It's called Enemy Mine.
Wow.
1985 sci-fi action. 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. So,
I'm not even mad that you didn't know the name of that movie off the top of your head. The fact that you even have any kind of like video screen inside your brain that contains that film is amazing.
Just
Do you remember where you saw this movie, Wes?
I've seen it. Definitely like on like daytime cable back in like the early 90s. Like a TBS or a TNT, and I watched the whole thing, fucking commercials and all. And it caught my attention then as a young boy, and when it's on, I watch it occasionally. I think I've seen it, I don't know, a dozen times in my life.
Yeah,
a dozen? I'm putting this
That's
on my movie.
amazing.
I'm putting this on my movie list. I'm always.
Oh, don't, dude, come on.
What? 63%?
Yeah, I mean it's good.
You've
It's
seen it a dozen times, and you tell me not to watch it. I can't think of a movie I've seen a dozen times that I would not tell you to watch.
All right, first of all, maybe a dozen was a little exaggerant. Maybe it was like it's 6 to 8. And second of all, it's a decent sci-fi movie. Okay.
Hey, listen, I want a list of films that we have to watch that are based on Wes Fox's Saturday afternoon rainy day when he was 12.
Okay.
Like, I want that. That's what I want.
By the way, Murr, would you like to see a picture of the alien in this movie?
I sure would.
All right, so hey, it's Louis Gossett Jr., by the way.
Wait, I've seen this movie. Wait.
Haven't we all? That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, I had this confused with what's the one where the kid's playing the video game, but the video game's real and it's not Lewis. I feel it's the same alien. I feel like they reused those prosthetics.
It was in a fucking some sort of closet in Hollywood.
The Last Starfighter. That's it. That's a good fucking movie.
I'm not sure that.
Don't tell me you've never seen The Last Starfighter.
I have. It's been a while.
I will say that seeing that picture of that alien almost is almost making me remove that movie from the movie list.
I wouldn't hate you, man. It's
that's
don't
probably a
worry
good
about that.
idea.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You're right. This certainly does. It's got more of like the Thing from Fantastic Four, kind of lizardy look to it. But you're right. I mean, it's not that far off.
That's why I was confused. I was like, wait, I don't remember him having a baby at his butthole. But anyway,
So-
all right.
All right. So yeah, that guy learned fucking Alien.
Oh, I forgot what we were even talking about. Did you know 7-Up, invented in 1920, contained lithium, the drug now commonly prescribed to sufferers of bipolar disorder?
God, that FDA, they had loose standards back then, looser than a Walmart employee fucking figuring out who can and can't drive scooters. I'll tell you that.
But it makes me wonder, did anybody have bipolar disorder back in the 1920s? Or was 7-Up keeping us all regulated?
What do you think they were doing with people with bipolar disorder back in the 1920s?
I think they were stabbing holes in their skull and
Yeah.
then ramming metal rods into their brain.
Yeah,
Lobotomies.
that's about where we were in mental health treatment, probably. Yeah, that's about right.
Well, it's okay. Here's the deal. Kind of like when you give blood, you get a free drink and some cookies. Back then, a lobotomy came with some 7-Up and a burger.
And a bib.
Yeah, that's right.
Slop that drool off your neck. Well, I mean, they were. We forget how experimental the times were less than 100 years ago. I mean, Coca-Cola had, it wasn't a significant amount of cocaine, but Coca-Cola had cocaine in it. In fact, Coca-Cola is still the only company allowed to import coca leaves from South America. They sell them to a company. The company like extracts like the actual cocaine out of it, and then Coke gets the rest of the extract to make Coca-Cola. That's why nobody can touch Coca-Cola, because they can't get the real coca extract.
I feel like that was better than the 7-Up fun fact.
Well, you know what? Sometimes
Your 2B was better than your 2A.
sometimes the sub facts are better than the fun facts.
That's right. No, I didn't know that. But no, I didn't
should
know
have
there
a-
were 7,000 languages spoken. But I know this movie from 1985. That's fucking amazing.
You should have just sub facts, and then
Well, the sub facts don't come up unless I'm like in the middle of like explaining a really terrible fact that I didn't
but I
realize.
meant, but just make them all about subs, like hoagies, and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Sub facts. Yeah. Never mind.
I don't even
7-Up.
know why they're called. I don't know why they're called. That's something we need to look up. Why are they called hoagies or subs? I know subs probably submarine, a submarine sandwich. They look like a submarine, but why hoagie?
Or
why is that?
grinder, right? It's another term.
Yeah.
Or hero.
Hoagie is definition of hoagie, a large sandwich. Well, no shit. Submarine sandwich. Doesn't really tell where the word hoagie originated from.
This is like the dialect thing. And this is all dialect, regional
Right.
dialect in the U.S. So I go back to the languages.
Like Coke and like because like I think like in Minnesota they call everything Coke. Doesn't matter. A 7-Up's a Coke because it's a soda.
Or
Then
pop.
you have soda. Then you have pop.
Yeah, but I also know about like I've heard that people in Spain have a tough time talking to people in Mexico, and they both speak Spanish. Like I can go to Minnesota and fucking not be like, "What the hell are you saying?"
That's true. But if you went to Louisiana, you would have an issue because that's a whole different fucking
That is
form of
that-
English.
That's that is the exception. There's no other place in the country. I've never been to Alaska, and I've never been to parts of Hawaii where you still might get some Polynesian or Samoan. I to the best of my knowledge, they speak English. But that Louisiana South fucking French, like no, there's actually a really good. This is another sub fact. It's a really good Jamie Kennedy experiment bit where he is a waiter and he's talking in that twang, and the person can't understand him. He's like, "Shook 'em." He's like, "No, chicken. Mm-hmm. Yep. Deep fried."
God, you must be the only person that watched every episode of the Jamie Kennedy Experiment.
Jamie Kennedy experiment and Andy Dick show. Those two. Phew, boy.
Oh, I'm actually watching News Radio. I started watching with Andy Dickson. In it.
Phenomenal
And
show. Phenomenal show.
And it's like before Andy Dick became Andy Dick. He's like a straight-laced Andy Dick.
Yeah, well, I think he was, according to Joe Rogan, Andy Dick has always been Andy Dick. Andy Dick just he didn't have fuck you money yet. News Radio provided him that.
Right, the character. I don't know what Andy Dick was doing in his personal life at that time. I didn't.
Here's a sub fact for you. Did you know Andy Dick is not his real name? He just always envisioned himself having a parking spot, so he wanted it to be a dick on his parking spot.
This all spawns from a 7-Up fucking deal, right? See?
That's right. Did you know, on average, there are 178 sesame seeds on each McDonald's Big Mac bun?
Damn. So now I can't buy a Big Mac and take that into the office and say, hey, I got a Big Mac giveaway. Person closest to the amount of sesame seeds on the top of this gets it.
It does make me want to get a Big Mac and then strip the sesame seeds off and count each and every one of them and see how close this thing actually is. But I don't put it past McDonald's to have like some sort of conveyor belt that's filled with exactly 178 sesame seeds that spits them down on top of a bun. They are more scientific than our scientists when it comes to crafting all of their concoctions.
Sub fact. Go ahead, Adam.
I was saying, what's the point of the sesame seed on the bun? I mean, do you guys ever?
I don't know. Probably
you ever notice the difference?
Probably texture. Probably would be my guess.
It's not. So it doesn't feel like just a soggy mess of a Big Mac.
Yeah, you get a teeny bit of crunch.
Yeah.
That's
a good point.
Sub fun fact, in the movie Rain Man, where he counts the paper clips that fall out, they were actually going to do that with a Big Mac bun and the amount of sesame seeds. He's going to point to it and say 187. Like, what, Ray? 187. 187. Yeah, 100, definitely 187. But the director thought it was just a little too kooky, so they went with paper clips.
Okay. Thanks for that, Wes.
I made that up. Didn't know if you could tell.
Well, did you know that also the Coca-Cola products that McDonald's sells, they taste better because they actually send them through chilled lines. They actually have stainless steel lines, and those are refrigerated, which is why your Coca-Cola is always ice cold at your local McDonald's.
You said taste better, though. That's opinion.
It does taste better.
That's opinion.
Can I win for some sponsorship there, Murph?
Yeah.
And their ketchup is specifically made for McDonald's because it contains more sugar than the normal Heinz ketchup.
Coca-Cola ketchup?
Coca-Cola ketchup. in chilled packets. Did you know every second, roughly 4 babies are born and 2 people die?
We need to narrow that gap.
I'm doing my part.
It's gotta...
All right. Did you know? Got nothing for that one. Did you know without an atmosphere, the surface temperature on Earth at the equator would be 176 degrees by day and fall to negative 200 degrees at night?
Oof. You could learn some languages around there. I'll tell you that. Learn them all.
But that's the thing, like, that's still livable though, right? I mean, 176. I mean, that ain't a fun time during the day.
You're baking. Yeah, you're like boiling on the inside.
I understand, but that's the equator. You know what I mean? That is already the hottest place on Earth.
Just go a little north, you'll be fine, right?
$1.40, $1.35.
I'm saying we could survive it. And there's already places where it gets to, like, I mean, maybe not negative 200, but like negative 100. And, I mean, what's an extra 100 after you've already been through one?
Right, so let me walk me through your typical day here surviving this. I assume you have like some sort of super space age space suit or something, right?
Something, yeah. You stay shaded up a little bit. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
big old fan. Big old fan, you'll be fine.
All I'm saying is they're survivable temperatures. I'm not saying you're going to enjoy the experience experience. I'm just saying there. I mean, that's no atmosphere. I get it. Atmosphere good, no atmosphere bad. But if there happened to be a day we're like, fuck, we just lost the atmosphere, human beings would still be alive. There'd be a lot less of us, but we'd not saying we'd thrive, but we wouldn't go extinct based on that, in my opinion.
Like there's other planets that don't have an atmosphere. I think like Venus does not have an atmosphere.
Uranus definitely does.
Yeah. Uranus doesn't see the light of day. But yeah, we can't survive on Venus. What person on Earth is surviving on Venus, right? If Earth turns into Venus like that now.
The way Murr's fictional situation is like, we lost the atmosphere, like a fucking fuse blew. So we got to do like a day and then, pop the fuse back on in Washington, D.C., of course. That is where the fuse box would be. And
this is obviously hypothetical because we have an atmosphere and they're saying hypothetically without an atmosphere. I just added the word hypothetically. So let me start the fact over. Hypothetically, without an atmosphere, the surface temperature on Earth at the equator would be 176 degrees by day and -200 at night. I'm just saying there was a time...
God.
There was a time, like the Ice Age, where temperatures like that occurred. And here we are still, surviving. I know. Go ahead, Wes.
No, I was just going to say, because speaking of Dennis Quaid movies, there's one where the atmosphere almost vanishes and, shit becomes polar all over the world. The day after tomorrow is what I'm talking about.
Day after tomorrow. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. And you know what? They survived. And by the way, that was actually the fuse box because I think it fucking ended at the end of the movie like, well, it's over, guys. Sun's coming out.
They take everyone to Mexico.
Yes. We made Mexico America. For some reason, our president was still in charge after we had to flee America in that movie.
You guys speak English, right?
We did make Mexico America like back in 1860 something. So I guess doing it again.
Yeah,
right.
It's really not hard.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what time it is. Disaster, expansion, whatever.
Bottom line is
no more. We'll just scoop up that language too. We'll just consolidate.
That's right. Spanglish.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, I'm saying that human beings are a resilient species, and we could survive that, and we're technologically advanced enough to where we'd figure out a way. That's all I'm saying.
I hate to be a lawyer here, but a little while ago you were like, hypothetically, if there was no atmosphere, it's not even a fact. If it's a hypothetical, it's not a fact. It's a hypothetical.
That's a good point. Fucking OMG facts. Fuck you guys. And fuck the Shin Splints Recovery Group who sponsors this segment. You can find them online on Facebook because that, my friends, is your Fun Fact Friday.
All right. There's no way to segue for this. There's no type of movie, no Randy Quaid to bail me out on this one. But this coming from the New York Post. Adam, did you read about this? That quote, dead body on a tourist hotspot beach turns out to be a sex doll. This comes out of somewhere in Thailand. So Thai police were flabbergasted after responding to a report of a dead body on a beach, only to discover that it was something far less dire. The false alarm occurred Thursday, and I don't know what Thursday, after beachgoers spotted what they thought was a woman's corpse on Bang Sayan Beach in the Thai province of Chonburi, Jan Press reported. Alarmed, they called the police, who arrived to discover that the so-called stiff was actually a hyper-realistic sex doll. The sex accessory, allegedly a Japanese model known as the, quote, AV Idol, reportedly cost around $553. Now, I will say upon glance, it fucking looks real. Adam, have you seen the pictures from the New York Post?
I've only seen the AV3 model.
Just the picture, the pictures of the sex doll.
Yeah, I've only seen the lower end models of that particular sex doll. That's what I wasn't familiar with. So I could look it up for you.
I was talking about the doll on the beach.
No.
All right. Without further ado, so here's what you have. And I mean, hey, like you're just casually strolling along. Although they have blurred out the rear end, the Uranus portion of this with atmosphere, by the way. But I don't know. Look at this. This is some. Obviously, that's just a piece of trash. But it could have been. If you thought that was a sex doll, that could have been a dildo.
What do you need a dildo for if you got a female sex doll?
Well, no, because these people thought it was a person. The people called the police and said, "Holy shit, that's a human washed up on fucking shore."
I know, but still, why would then a human?
And then you're thinking that's a dildo next to them? If you think it's a human?
Upon first glance, it looks like a piece of trash, but it is like 6 to 8 inches long, cylinder, circular, and black. So, I mean, it looks like trash, but if you think that's a sex doll, you might think there's some foul play going involved.
You just said if you think it's a human, then never mind.
Yeah, I know. Wes, your logic is fleeting, but it's fine. I just wonder though, like they blurred out the vagina of an inanimate object. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I do find that, I don't know. Obviously it's a very realistic doll.
Sure.
If they felt they had to blur out the fake genitalia, you obviously can't tell the difference between the real thing and the fake thing.
This is, and Murr, you've heard this story. Adam, I may have told you this. Me, my brother, my cousin, my dad stumbled across a sex doll on Garrett Island when we were having a family, boating cookout excursion. Have I told you this story?
I don't think so.
Mm-mm. Yeah. So Garrett Island, where it's where the Susquehanna River meets the Chesapeake Bay. We used to boat out there a lot, and they had a beach. They had a rope swing. We'd grill. The parents would drink. Kids would swim. Blah blah blah. And my dad grabs me, my brother, and my cousin, and says, "Hey, we're gonna take a little expedition." We go under Route 40, the Route 40 bridge that goes right over Garrett Island, and they cut all the trees down, so it's kind of a neat little like pathway to walk. And we came across a sex doll, and I was like, "Holy shit, what's that?" Now my point to that is that sex doll looked like a fucking, something you could float on in someone's pool in the backyard with a fucking two holes cut out in the plastic. This on this Thai beach looks like a fucking human. So, times have changed. Things have gotten more realistic. And for $530 fucking dollars, yeah, I guess this is what you get. You get what you pay for.
That's pretty cheap. Like seeing what yeah. I mean, considering what that thing looked like, you're right. I mean, a body that somebody drowned, I don't expect them to look in the best condition. Mm-hmm. So considering that it's a drowned body, that looks... I actually applaud the people who called the police to report a dead body.
Yeah,
otherwise, I look, sex dolls have come a long way. Just like you said, the Garrett Island sex doll. And by the way, do you think somebody was using that doll on the Garrett Island?
Listen, to think about, go ahead, Adam.
Just see, what's your theory on how it ended up there, Wes?
Some fucking drunk boater who's married went out there with a fucking $12 sex doll and had sex and threw the fucker to the wayside when he was done with it and got on his boat and went back home. Much like this person. This guy had sex with the thing on the beach and threw it in the ocean.
Yeah, that's my theory on this is nobody wants to get caught with a sex doll in their house. Mm-hmm. And so, because Adam, we actually had that. We asked you a while back, is it legal to resell a used sex doll? Yeah. And so I'm wondering, I mean, and if this truly is like a Japanese sex doll, I'm pretty sure shame is much bigger in their culture. They probably got themselves a dinghy and went out on the water, and tied a couple bricks to the feet, and hooked it overboard, so that the shame would not befall their family.
And said, "I love you," but not in English, because there's a lot of different languages in the world.
Japanese is not going to be one of them. Right?
That's right. It will not. Absolutely will not.
But yeah, no. So long story short, Adam, I asked what it was. My cousin, who's around my brother's age, stepped in and told my dad, "Unc, I got this one." and explained to me what the what a sex doll was. And this kid, Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, how old were you at the time?
Me? 9. I think they were 12-ish.
Yeah.
Wait, so he gave you the full rundown on what it was?
It certainly wasn't like, hey, a man fucking jams his dick into this fucking into this rubber.
Here,
pole
let me
here.
show you here.
Well, good enough for you guys. I have a boner right now. I'm going to show you how this is done. No, he just said, yeah, a man pleases that thing to get his jollies off. And I didn't quite get what the jollies off was, but I knew what he was talking about. I knew he was saying sex.
He could have just said it's a funny floaty toy that somebody brought out here.
A mannequin or something.
Well,
Because I imagine actually the real story probably is some fucking drunken twat went out there and was just like, hey, you guys want a raft? Here you go. And then it just floated back up on shore. That's probably all it really was, as innocent as it could be.
Sure.
But instead, we're just imagining some sweaty, fucking bearded, fucking hairy man out having like rough sex with a fucking blow up toy.
Yeah. I mean, that's not, I have no idea. Your story could be correct. My story of the oyster shucker from the Eastern Shore boated all the way up and fucking had sweet passionate whoopee with this $12 thing and then just left it there and said I love you in English, by the way. And why did my cousin not take the high road and tell a 9-year-old me it was a blow up? I don't know. He probably thought that like, this is a life lesson. When you're walking below an interstate highway on an island and you come across something like this is when the young man needs to step into manhood. I don't know. Who knows what that kid's like?
You know what? I agree with that. I don't like telling, just be honest with people. Even kids, right? Unless it's something terribly, terribly traumatic, but they gotta learn someday. Time to grow up.
Yeah, but it's not even like honest when you're just making shit up. Like he's just like
right. And the thing of it was like I would have remembered that story no matter who broke the news to me, but it just so happens that it was my bit of a black sheep cousin who cut off my dad. Like, oh, uncle, I'm gonna go ahead and take this one for you. I'm gonna go.
How old was your cousin at the time?
12.
How do you know what it was?
My dad let him have the carpet. He was like, oh yeah, by all means, let's hear it.
Because knowing your dad, he was just really curious as to what was going to come out of this little asshole's mouth.
That's true.
All right. Let me ask you this, Murr. At 12, did you know what a sex doll was? Because I don't know if I knew what a sex doll was at 12.
Yeah, I did. I had some terrible neighbor kid friends, man. Like really.
They grilled fish.
Like,
I did grow up kind of in
they played basketball.
Isolated.
Yeah, I won't say their name, but there were some. You know where I live. There were some dirtballs down the road that just like they had older brothers, and when you grow up around kids who have hillbilly older brothers, there's a lot of things you're exposed to that you should like. I probably watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time when I was like 8 or 9. I can remember I can remember them digging under the pool table and finding like a porno when I was like 7. I mean, there's probably a lot of trauma trapped inside this brain that needs to be released in some way.
See, Adam says he doesn't know what a sex doll was at 12, but at 10 and 11, me and him were explaining to, can't believe I'm going to say this on a podcast, explaining to girls on a field trip that doing the V around their lips and flicking their tongue out meant they were saying hello to each other. And they did it. They did it all field trip.
Oh, that's amazing.
Hey.
Although I will say I did not know what that was until you or one of the other guys who got them to do that told me what it was. I saw that they were doing it and I'm like, I got to find out what this means without like I don't know what it means. I don't seem.
I think I flat out told you.
I figured it out at some point.
Okay, all right. I want to say
see, Adam.
My memory may be like I thought I flat out just told you what it was, but I could be wrong.
No. I'm sure you probably did. But I did not know what it was until you or somebody told me.
See, having degenerate neighborhood friends, Adam, that's where you learn all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Fox boys are notorious.
Yeah.
That was a good life lesson too, because without a friend like Wes to tell me something like that, I would have been up in New York as a 10 or 11-year-old, probably with those girls going,
Right.
not knowing any better. You got a street smart guy like Wes. That's what
Yeah,
you need.
and I think in an ultimate litmus test situation where I tell a good friend like Adam, who is of moral value, that, and he's like, "Hell yeah, we should keep that joke going." I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah, we should." Thank you. I thought so when I first started
Funny.
it.
That was funny. I still tell that story. I can imagine if I saw that living here in the city now, like some group of 10 or 11-year-old girls walks by me as I'm going down the street and goes, like that would freak me out, man. I had to like go running. I don't know. I'd be afraid like some sort of catch a predator setup or something like that. And
Well, you know what the proper
camera or something. I don't know.
the proper response is just, "Hey, how you doing?"
See, that's like
This is so creepy though, isn't that really creepy?
no,
It's
that's
really creepy.
that's hello in Portuguese. You got to learn your languages, buddy. That's just like a friendly. Ooh, how you doing?
You're not gonna have to learn Portuguese either, right?
Nope,
No.
it's gone. Have to break it to Maria.
No more.
She's still cursing in Portuguese. She give like a
Dude, everything sounds like you're cursing in Portuguese. When she's talking to her sister, I'm like, when she gets done, I'm like, who killed who? Like, what do you mean? Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, oh, we were just talking about the baby shower. That's how you talk about a baby shower? It's fucking aggressive. It's disturbingly aggressive. It's unsettling.
Yeah, you got to get rid of that language. We can't have people talk like that. That's bullshit. 5 languages. They're the least aggressive. I think that's the only way we can do this.
You gotta be real even tone.
Yeah, I mean, monk. I mean, you say shit. Just look at stuff. Point. Oh, all right. Well, hey, usually this is where I kick it to Alan and say, "Where can you find us?" But Murr, you might know where the kiddos and the kiddas can find us.
And I might not.
Oh, all right. Let's see. Let's put our minds together. So, Adam, this is where we tell people, what social media outlets you can find the middle class holes.
Okay, you can find us on TikTok at Middle Classholes and on Twitter at MDL Classholes.
And Instagram. They're the same.
And then on Facebook as the Middle Classholes as well.
Yeah. Apple and Google Podcast at Middle Class Holes. And then our email
is, of course, tickleourtummies at gmail.com. Yes, that's tickleourtummies, plural, at gmail.com.
Yeah, it's just like, we take it for granted that Alan's so good at that.
Well, he says it all the fucking time. We did pretty goddamn good for zero prep, and I didn't look any of them up before we got on here.
That's right, folks. If you want to, talk about sex dolls that wind up on Thai beaches, different type of languages that you think should be narrowed down, losing of atmosphere within, a day, something like that, or if you have a legal problem and you want our friend, you have to live in the United States. You can't live in Perth or speak a different language. We might be able to help you. It's 50-50, depending upon if Adam wants to even dig deep into your bullshit. So, hey, yeah, thank you all for tuning into the Middle Class Holes. Next week, we're in fucking studio. I'm excited.
That's going to be weird.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, because we've never been in the same room together.
That's right. You've never met your co-host, Alan.
No, I have not. In like,
Really?
what, 2.5 years?
Never in person.
Never.
No.
It's happening in 1 week's time. Yeah.
Man, I kind of almost want to drive down to see this momentous occasion.
It will be Bel Air if you want to come by. It's a coffee house, and they said they'll have beer for us. So yeah, I mean, New York to Bel Air, Maryland, that makes sense.
I think it's worth driving the 5 hours to see this in person. Absolutely.
Come on down 5 North. I think that's the name of the establishment, Bel Air. So, yeah. Well, folks, hey, we'll see you then. Otherwise, appreciate it. Adios.
And though it take me fishing near a hill. Just ask Miss Smith, give me a big old glass of beer. 'Cause I get drunk most every day. I always seem to find myself late. Might be on as fuck, I'm still riding like a pup. I fell down, but my dick's still up. Well, sometimes I may need a hand when I'm just too drunk to stand. I don't need your sympathy, keep your judgment too. 'Cause you just give it a little pull, and my dick's strong like bull, ready to satisfy my woman whole night through. I get drunk most every day. Everyone knows Scooter is a gay. Might be on his fuck, I'm still riding like a pup. I fell down, but my dick's still up. I fell down, but my dick's still up. I fell down, but my dick's still up.